has enough to it. And hello, 10 viewers that will go up on our YouTube channel, and to those in Instagram Live, for those 7 viewers, my name is Vicente Cruz. I am the event and fundraising coordinator for the Oakland Greens, and this is our public monthly general business meeting. And we will go over the agenda. We don't need intros. We all know each other here. We're all family. And so it'll be agenda review, which we're doing now. Oakland school closures report back. Howard Terminal speaking opportunity. And I'm sorry, going down. Treasury report, social media report, in-person events, and announcements is what I have. Is there anything that we need to add to the agenda?
Greg Stack.
Yep. Yes, please.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the June elections, and particularly the assembly race. Well, actually, both assembly races.
You know what? I should get a pen and let me write it down, because then I'll still add it to the agenda once I get my computer back. Any piece of paper will do. Okay. Whoops. Sorry, Doe. Sitting on your foot there, old man. And June. Sorry. Okay. Anything else to add?
Well, I didn't hear announcements. There were
Announcements is in there. Yep.
oh, okay.
Bottom right after in-person events.
Great.
Anything else? No?
Report back regarding your papers that you wanted what? Converted to Spanish.
Sorry, say again?
Oh, there's Spanish translations.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you. June election, put that down too, and Spanish translation. And any others? No? Okay. Okay, so then without hearing any, sorry, I'm now doing 3 things. I'll tell you, I'm running completely late, sadly. So the first one is Oakland school closures. And actually, if I can ask, Bill, could you start off with that?
Sure. Let me just note, I'm going to have to, I won't get off at 7, but I'm expecting a call around then. So I will listen with one ear for a while after 7, try to, sort of multitask.
Yeah.
Well, let me say something from the OEA point of view. I assume at least some of you were on watched the forum, the county Green Sunday forum this weekend. I mean, ironically, although I put it together with the speakers, I was not able to be there because I was back east with my uncle and really wasn't able to get on. That said, of course, the struggle is going on many fronts, and the struggle is both a local struggle, but also a statewide struggle, which I believe was a point of discussion on Sunday. The OEA is in the process of measuring the degree of readiness for a series of rotating strikes. And from a legal point of view, our basis of this is that we demanded to bargain the issues around the school closures, and actually had contractual language in one of the memorandums of understanding in regard to that. What that does is allow us then to undertake one or more unfair labor practice strikes. But regardless of the legal side of it, the issue is whether the members and the community are ready to be involved, and that's still being assessed. As of earlier in the month, there was a fairly positive feeling, but I'll be honest and say it's quite uneven across the district. Obviously, number one, with schools that have been targeted, and they are still active, and we know people in a number of them, like at Parker Elementary and so forth. And number two, schools where we have a core of militants, I think, who can make the case. So I don't want to say 100% that this will come about. But we are not ready, and we, the OEA, ready to just end this. But it also ties in, and I'll wind up here, with the other issue about the state takeover. And this is still being battled again, both at the school board level and the community level. And there seems to be, some contradictions within the Democratic Party establishment on this. People, not to say that this would merit our support, but at least, some people, Mia Bonta, others have been fighting the takeovers, or at least, saying they are. And so it's hard to judge where that is going. I'll just end by talking about June elections, that one of the elections that could be of interest is for the county school board. And it's a superintendent, Karen Monroe, who I'm not saying she by herself triggered this, but actions she took and the board took directly connected with the school closure issue. I'll stop there. Thanks.
Oops. Thank you, Bill. And I see Michael, please. I see your hand.
Thank you. What I wanted to do is to report that I had a conversation with Don McClay this earlier in the week, and we're going to try and reactivate Action 2020. And there's a meeting at 6:00 on Thursday. And I did send out the contact information for it to the Oakland Greens list. But if anybody who thinks they might want to be on this call and didn't receive it, let me know and I'll try to send it to you personally. And basically, I'll just say that that there's it revolves around this battle that came up at the county meeting. The question is listening to Mike Hutchison spoke at the county meeting, and he's very optimistic that we can in this next round of elections change the tenor of the board. In a way, it's already changed somewhat, and he thinks that it can be changed even more in this next election. And so if that's the case, then Action 2020 is ever more important, because that's what Action 2020 is going to focus on, is getting the word out about progressive candidates and doing what we can to elect them.
And I see Bill's hand back up. Please go ahead. And actually, before you do that, Bill, sorry about that, Kyle. I probably sent it to one of the other email addresses. I'll make sure to send it to both. But for the 10 viewers that will watch this on YouTube, if you're ever needing to, you didn't receive the email to the meetings, it's a recurring meeting. So there's always a link, and it ought to be a shout out to our website, www.oaklandgreens.org. Bill, please.
Yes, very quickly. One thing to take note of, and obviously we need to discuss this more, not just in the context of the school board, is the revision of the boundaries of the districts. And so Mike Hutchinson actually is going to run in a different district, for example, than he is now. Um, uh, and so we, as I said, now it's not the time, I know, to go into this, but it is an important issue for us to gauge in terms of the upcoming campaigns. I'll just leave it there.
Okay, I'm not seeing any hands, but I will call on myself in the sense that, my and the Oakland Greens position, when we start our in-person events, this is going to be a huge, huge monologue. It'll be just before the election. But really what we're thinking of is we have to, different, catchphrases and all that shit. When Mike Hutchinson becomes the most conservative member of the board, we're going to really be able to get some things accomplished for a new education system, not closing schools, which we all know that's Mike's bread and butter, but also, continuing the fight, making sure that there's police not on campus, more mental health service workers, just money from the state, the city, county, and feds to really fund education. Of course, for the city, right, we fucking lower the police budget. They've already shown that they can't fucking handle their military style weapons. Well, there's a whole big chunk of money right there that we could dump into education, some things like that. So that's what I would add, not just for the recording, but anytime that we are at the school board meetings or in any rallies or anytime this conversation comes up about school closures, I think we need to add on top of the caveat that we want a new education system, the money's there, and we need candidates to actually fight for that. When I ran, they argued about that, if you elect, one of the things that Ms. Hodge tried to, her campaign against me was that, if you elect me, you'd be electing an activist. Of course, I didn't run away from that. I was like, yes, yeah, if you want action and shit moving, yep, I'm that. You better fucking believe it. And that even could be because I was, when I ran, we were also doing the sit-in. I was like, I would lobby my whole district, all the schools in my district, all the student and the parents. Let's fuck off a day of school. Let's go to Sacramento and demand, one, that they fucking forgive that unjust debt that they fucking burdened us with. Fuck that. I never thought we should have paid that back or been starting to pay that back. And yes, be more activisty. So that would be my encouragement, and I will end there and ask, is there any other comments? And Orlando, please. Yes, go ahead.
I think when it comes, and I agree with you, what you said, totally, Vicente, but I think when it do come around Mike Hudson, and when it comes to, we just talking about the negative side, I think we need to encourage people. He's just an emotional, passionate person. And hopefully people don't try to get into his personal life and try to attack him while he's moving forward on this election. So that would just be my word of encouragement. Even though we got the good, but now we got to look at his outbursts, his dad. And I've been hearing a lot of people talking about it. And, we know Mike personally, but just a heads up, I think if we have a defense on passionate people, I think that'll make it work a little better too when it comes to the Action 2020.
Nice. And I will piggyback on that because I've never have understood this, because yes, Mike is passionate and fiery and is actually, I think, less afraid of profanity than I am, but yet he has always got a bad rap for being mean. And that was one of the criticisms why he didn't get elected before, because, he was, but I'm like, I don't get it, because I'm way more fucking mean than he is. And I have no idea how I got to get away with it. It never came up when I was running. The only thing that came up about running was, again, about my activism, the fact I was doing a sit-in, and, we had kids on campus and we reopened, all that shit came up, but nothing about, what, when I'd be at the, it was Boots was doing a music, it was like a media day, and I'm emceeing it. And when I'm sitting here trying to motivate the crowd to be engaged, one of the things I said is that, well, this government, fucking rapes us butt rapes us with an unlived redwood tree with no lubrication. It's so fucking blatant. And I said that like to news media, no one fucking said a thing. Like how does that fucking get through? But Mike telling someone, I don't know, I can't even think. I mean, I know Mike's passion. The only other thing was when he would criticize other school board members and call them out by name, right? So I don't know why that part of him is what people, focus on over. And Bill, yes, please.
Pardon me. Yeah, I think we don't need to go deep into this, but I will say this. It's not a matter of him being mean or language or anything like that. In the past, it's a matter of him doing things without consulting anyone else that impacted substantial numbers of people that were supposed to be his allies. Often doing things and that were seemingly more self boosting than, again, working on a collective project, not doing things when he said he would do things. Those were the kinds of things. And I'm not minimizing the very positives that he's brought to the table. Certainly as the kind of watchdog and one of the perhaps the most important person in terms of, ringing the bell as to what's going on. But I don't think it's just sort of meanness. It's that he hasn't functioned in a collective way, assuming one wants to function in a collective way. I'll leave it at that.
Okay,
Well said. Well said.
Well said indeed. Thank you very much. Anything else? Question, comments on the school closures? And seeing none, moving on to the next agenda item. So I received this email just before my computer went down. It was 2 weeks ago at this point, almost 3. And it's for a Zoom event on March 30th, and they're looking for speakers. Now, or presenters. Speakers to me is actually just the actual speaker that projects the sound. But of course I can do it, but as we just talked about, if someone starts saying some stupid shit, it just comes out. I mean, it may not be as drastic as when I was emceeing, but I'm not afraid of profanity if I think it's emphasis. And then if it comes out organically, I don't force it out. I just don't hold it back. If I get passionate about something because we're in such a state of emergency, it does come out. I am more than willing to answer them back and do it. But I also think that we can use some other faces, and this isn't one that has to be specifically me. And I see Michael's hand, please.
Well, I feel like you started in the middle. Who is asking us to speak on what subject?
This is the Howard Terminal, and
Okay.
And it was sent to me, and like I said, I did copy it. And it was Ariel Garnett.
Yeah, I have it. Okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about a Howard Terminal.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
well,
I can even tell you too what it says.
why don't you read it for everyone? Yeah.
Yes. We invite you to speak at the next stop, the Oakland Expansion General Meeting, March 30th, 7 to 8:30 p.m. over Zoom. For this March meeting, we want to hear from the 45 environmental justice, religious, labor, medical, and community groups that are showing support for the campaign. We are the Oakland Greens. We signed the letter and are also a member of that. Let's hear about the incredible work you are all doing to get to know each other better. Presenter from each organization is invited to share up to 5 minutes. 1, an overview of your organization. Please provide links for people to learn more on how to get involved. How does your work relate to the campaign? What airport expansion issues and is your group and community most concerned about? If you're, sorry.
Now I'm confused again. Is this about Howard Terminal or the airport expansion?
Howard Terminal, but also they are talking about the airport expansion too.
Okay.
Because I think it was, I do remember being in a meeting where it's kind of a package thing that they're doing.
No, two separate things. I mean, some people have, people may have the same, agree on the either pro or con on both issues, but it's not a joint activity at all.
And if you're available to speak for your group on March 30th or future monthly meeting, please respond to this email. Ariel at stoptheoaklandexpansion.org to be added to the agenda and rescue the Zoom link, and thanks.
Well, could you forward the email again to our list?
I can try, but I don't have my computer anymore.
Right. Okay.
But I did send it to everyone. If someone else could just forward that to the group one more time. Orlando, do you put that in from your email, correct?
Yes,
Could you forward that to the group again?
yes.
Thank you very much. That's
You're
easy. And what do we have in there? Just want to say hi to Instagram. Hello. Again, yes, this is Vicente Cruz, the Oakland Greens Event Fundraising Coordinator. You were in the middle of our agenda items. So we just need to decide who wants to speak. Oh, Kyle, please.
I was just asking the name of that organization that sent you the email.
Stoptheoaklandexpansion.org.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And yes, if no one objects or wants to step up, I'll do it.
Okay. This is Michael. It's fine if you do it, but if you, for some reason, you can't do it, I'll be the backup.
Thank you. My second. Thank you very, very much. And Bill, I see your hand as well.
Yes, just so people know, many of you probably do, a number of interesting developments on this front. Obviously, since the environmental impact discussion and vote, it's been more in the news again. But there also has been a recent report, actually an industry report, criticizing the stadium idea. So that said, one always has to be worried. There's, and I don't have the documents in front of me, but there's some evidence that the PMA, despite their presence in the anti-stadium coalition, for better or worse, has released their own internal discussion thinking about only two major ports on the West Coast. And so there are a lot of, different things, assuming that we are focusing primarily on the impact of the port. There are all sorts of other related issues to be brought up. The other thing I'll mention gets back in a way to the school closures. There was an effort both within the OEA and also the main No School Closures Coalition to take on this issue, partly because of trying to firm up an alliance with the IOW, especially Local 10, and because so many of the same players are involved in one way or another, certainly in terms of the political establishment in the city. So that's another piece to the puzzle. And if people are interested in doing more, one of the subcommittees of the coalition, which is entitled Fire FICMAT, also is doing a considerable amount of work on the port. So I can pass that on to people if you're interested. Thanks.
Thank you. And I see Michael next. And before that, I wanted to get for the recording and also see if everyone in the group is also on board. So, I hang out with Dale often, and we were talking and looking at which I think the stadium looks ugly. I don't think it's very, very attractive, even the design that they have, not just aside from the fact of why would you put it there when we have a BART access and how much, and actually it seems like you'd actually be able, if you were the developer, you'd double your money because you're gonna would have to tear down the stadium and where it is now and then rebuild it and even buy out people and tear down housing to actually make it, new low income and affordable housing, fuck low income, just affordable housing. And then again, modernize the stadium and restaurants and all those things too. So my question is everybody cool with like the Oakland Greens policies that, we should rebuild and reinvent the stadium like right where it is and not just for the port, but we should really be doing it there. And then Michael, please.
Yes, I wanted, as long as we're talking about the Howard Terminal, I want to call people's attention to the fact that Carol Fife, who's now the city council member from District 3, is now talking about having a public vote on the proposal. It's not definite for sure. I think she was just floating the idea to see what reaction she was going to get from that. But I understand that there's going to be, she's going to meet with the other members of the city council to discuss the idea of putting this up for a public vote in November. I'll just say one other thing, and that is Dave Cavall was on television, the president of the A's. He was very negative, which to me is a good sign. He doesn't think that apparently that the A's can win a vote if it actually went to a citywide vote. Over.
Thank you very much. And then I see Orlando and then Bill next. Orlando, please.
I just have a question is, with both the stadium and the school closure, is we talking about a major land grab also that's going to have a major effect on the do's and the don'ts? So do you think that with the election coming up and with those votes and how they did with the last election, Uber and Lyft paid all that money to the candidates, do you think it's going to be a major shift when it do comes for the policy to be changed? Because it's going to be a lot of money involved this November.
Always.
Over.
Bill, please.
Yes, just very quickly on what Mike said. Yes, Carol sent out emails. I got one, and so it couldn't have been just to people, in her district on this issue. And there was a meeting. I was just getting back from my journey back east, so I wasn't able to get on it on Saturday, but there was a meeting that she sponsored this weekend on this issue, and I assuming that this came up, and as Orlando correctly points out, I mean, first and foremost, this isn't about the stadium at all. It's about gaining more and more control over that land in close proximity to the downtown, and potentially using, assuming there is a massive transportation package, which there could be, or at least a significant one if the county goes along with the new infrastructure money coming in, that it wouldn't be used even primarily to serve people going to the stadium. It would be used to provide, transportation for those who are going into this market rate housing to get to BART or wherever they're going. So yes, all these things extend far beyond as much, those of us who are A's fans want to see them play. I would like to see them stay in Oakland, but there are bigger issues right now. So.
Well, yes, as much as I love sports, yeah, tent cities and stuff are more important. But if we rebuild where it is, I would say, again, a lot of that tax money and stuff goes into fixing those issues, right?
I agree. I agree. I mean, you look at the Mets and the Yankees. I mean, they built stadiums right next door in New York. Of course, they don't need any further pressure for gentrification in New York, so it wasn't as big an issue. But yeah, no, and it would even satisfy the building trades and their allies who are yelling and screaming. It's not as though the jobs wouldn't be there if we did that. I agree.
Well, and then it falls under, and then I see you, Michael. It falls under you could make the case that I united drug families, but it's almost like a plant station. But if you pay a living wage at the stadium and you have affordable housing right next door to the stadium, you can have all your concession workers live right next to the fucking stadium and just walk to work, right? Like I said, I do going down a rabbit hole. You can make a case of even though if you take away the living wage, that's just plantation stuff. But we're not talking about that, of course, is the Oakland Greens. So again, I don't get it why they wouldn't want to rebuild there. You have your workers there. Even if you pay them a living wage, you're still saving tons of money because they don't have to commute, and it's fuck. Anyway, Michael, next.
I'll just say that this is further proof that this whole Howard Terminal business is not about baseball. It's about real estate and property values, and people who can make money. That's what I would say if I were speaking. This is a real estate venture. And that's one reason why I'm against it. Not the only one, but certainly one reason I'm against it.
Okay, and so that actually, unless there's any other comment, seeing none. So, yes, Kyle, please.
No, is this still about the Howard Terminal, or are we just comments in general?
Howard Terminal.
Oh, okay. No comment about that. I'm in agreement with everything as far as the perception and our point of view.
Okay, but I do see Mika Daniel's hand, please.
Yes, as I was listening to all of this, I believe, if I read correctly, they're wanting to move part of that, the ports, big handling those big boxes, things, that the trucks come and get over into that Howard terminal. Is that correct?
No. Could I answer?
Please.
Basically, the Howard Terminal property that they're talking about is right now being used for container storage and the trucks coming and going to pick up the containers. That's what Howard Terminal is used for at the moment.
Oh, and that's what it. Okay.
And if the eighth thing goes through, then they would have to find some other place, or what will actually happen is there'll be a lot fewer containers because it's part of the way of reducing, if not eliminating, the port as an actual shipping terminal.
Gotcha. Thank you, Michael.
Yes, and thank you, Michael. Oh, sorry, he must have got kicked out. Come back in. Is there any other comment? And then I will still give 30 seconds while Orlando logged back in. There he is. Is there any other comment on this agenda item for the Howard Terminal? Seeing none. So I also just need the straw poll. So what I have is for what our talking points will be is it's not about baseball, it's real estate. Right, everyone cool with that? I'm seeing okay. That about living wages, and that actually could have affordable housing right next door to modernize right next to BART. But rather opposed to that.
Well, no, wait, I run that one by me again.
Redoing the Oakland
Stadium. You mean the Coliseum terminal?
Coliseum, yep, right where it is.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Right. Got it. Okay.
Right where it is. But of course, with the real Green Deal of like affordable and low income housing, modernized housing,
The EAs are totally against that. They would
I
leave,
know.
they would leave
Well,
town
yeah.
before
But you
they would do
know, that's how we know we're on the right side, the correct side of it.
that.
Because when we say it, they're like, "Oh, fuck you! What are you talking about? Affordable housing, living wages? No, yeah, okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Billionaire. You got to throw away a yacht." Um, and that was talking point. So yeah, okay, we're good on that. And I will, if I don't get my computer back by this week, definitely by Thursday, I will find a way to answer her email correctly, and tell her that we have myself or a backup if needed.
Okay.
Any other discussion on this agenda item? Seeing none. Now I think it's all easy. Oh, I went too far. There we go. Yes, okay. And now these are easy, quick ones, and we'll be at the end. The next one is our treasury report. We are about to get another large patron donation, and right now we're still holding steady. Sorry, look at that. I balanced the checkbook. Actually, it's up from last time, but it's $919 at the moment. We have no expenses, real expenses or anything like that coming, not until much later in the summer for our Zoom account and things like that. We are about to get another, like I said, donation from our patron. I'm really going to be making an effort to do more fundraising. In fact, so my goal now, first it was just to be under $5,000, so we didn't have to actually do any paperwork. Now I've changed that because of things that I really want to see the Oakland Greens do and try to make a big leap, is that the goal is by 2023 that we will need an accountant.
Wow.
And what that means is anything over $5,000. Realistically, I'm thinking 7. My ideal is I actually want to see if we can do 10. And what that means is a lot more promotion of our monthly events, which the last one fucked off about Instagram, which is too bad because it is such a audience that we should reach, and have reached in a fairly good percentage compared to the people that come through and why they think they're coming through to when, like, I'm broadcasting now live versus what's actually happening. And so it's because we need a new computer. My computer is dead. And aside from the fact that we store everything and archive everything, I personally bought and then still donated a 16 terabyte external hard drive so we could back everything up, and then I could actually clear off tons of stuff on the computer itself. But it's time to upgrade, the computer I built myself. That's probably like 15 or 20 years old. So we really need an effort. And what that also means as an ask is that I will, of course, write the stuff, but I really need more support from the county of, making sure to get not just, my own things that I produce, but anytime they do a fundraising letter, say, hey, can you help us? And I'd really like to take the stance. So when we were at the General Assembly last, it came across to me and a few other people, and then we actually got emails really giving us props for all of the work we're doing. Seems like there's only three major counties that are actually doing it. Well, 2 major counties and us, but so Santa Clara, Alameda County, of course, has the voter guide and the Green Sundays. And then you have us who are like the more radicals. I mean, I don't know anyone else that is taking a platform against child trafficking right to the streets and talking to providers who street walk managers about living wages and drug addiction and not trafficking young girls, and out of 5 getting 2 to actually at least verbally agree. There's no, without some sort of, which I think might fall under like mental health services of a police or something other division of safety forces to go out and actually see if it's actually happening. I mean, other than the fact that everyone knows my car is noticeable. When I drive it on International, motherfuckers shout me out, right? Because they know that I went down there anyway, I was there and, and trying to do something that is incredible comparatively, and not just also, we still talk to. We're not afraid to talk to homeless encampments, houseless encampments, tent cities and things, right? That's an audience we want to target. And then we're about to start in-person events. So yeah, that would just be my ask, is that we, just support more for things we're doing so that we can raise the money for the Oakland Greens and do more incredible stuff. And Greg, yes, I see your hands. I'll stop now.
Yeah, I had something, and I just wanted to say, when you mentioned about some of the other counties, there are a few other counties like Sonoma, maybe Humboldt, that do a modest amount of stuff, even San Francisco. But yeah, I haven't heard anything like what you're talking about. But anyway, what I wanted to say was, when you mentioned about Instagram, it reminded me about this last weekend. I didn't get a chance, but apparently there was a national, many Greens from around the country participated in a national third-party event that was, I think, entirely on YouTube and maybe some on Twitter. And, I don't know if anybody got a chance, but I was just curious that I guess maybe that's a whole nother audience, that people that will go to and pay attention to things on YouTube and Twitter, and not so much the usual Zoom meetings that we're used to. So I guess I just wanted to comment. And of course, if anybody did make that, I'm just curious how it went.
I'd made it. This is Mika. And
Did it
it,
go-
I very well. They had a variety of speakers, and I think the one for the ending yesterday, the final speaker was Howie. So he was there, and there were people from Santa Clara County Greens and different places throughout the state, and it all was really very well put together, and some very poignant statements made about it. I would suggest, if you could, it was great to see and hear.
Mika,
No, go ahead, Michael. You're good.
I
We're all
just,
family here.
yeah, I just wanted to ask if there's a way to see any of that. Has it been saved in some fashion?
That would be a challenge. I could check that out and looking at the links again and see, because it was on YouTube. So I don't know, is it usual that the YouTube
Yeah,
saves
if
that?
it's on YouTube, it's there.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Third Party Summit.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it is. And then to
Just
answer,
personally speaking,
go ahead.
I was just speaking on YouTube channels in general. From what I see, that's starting to become extremely popular with people. So I know if we were to do like a little broadcast or something, or had something on YouTube as a channel, then yeah, that's how our thing would be.
Just maybe bad connection from walking. For the 10 viewers that will watch it on our YouTube channel, the Oakland Greens do have a YouTube, Oakland Greens, Oakland Green Party /YouTube, and our videos are up. The only thing I would say on, as far as something that would get more views, is I need to do more editing. But now we're back to, we need to upgrade our computer because it takes a really long time on mine. So, but we do have a YouTube channel. I didn't make it to this one, but as you know, I go to many state and local meetings, and I am usually when I do it, I do Instagram Live unless I am requested not to. So if you go to our Instagram, again, for the YouTube and connecting it all. Oh, before I even shout out the Instagram channel, what I would also say, Greg, and this is a low probability guess, again, without doing actual study, I think Instagram is a younger audience, even though there is a lot of crossover. I think YouTube is Instagram is a younger audience, and actually would say probably not as politically engaged. And also, I know for sure, there's also like the QAnon side is on Instagram. YouTube is a little bit older, still covers the same, diversity of ideas and craziness, and down the rabbit hole or out into space, whichever way you want to choose. I'm a down the rabbit hole kind of guy. I like to stay grounded. And so, but yes, so there is a lot of crossover, but the audience I don't think is necessarily the same all the time. Any other comments, questions? So yes, then our social media our Facebook and stuff is still always growing. Probably the larger growth is the Instagram and YouTube channels. And yeah, and as usual, again, I didn't see any. So moving on to the next agenda item, in-person events. I received an email back from the Grand Lake Farmers Market that they're reviewing our application. Either way, we are starting on the first Saturday in May. If we have to just be in the public, again, next to the tents over there, I am perfectly fine with that. And I also did tell them that it is a 1 and 3 type of Saturday. So we're going to Saturday morning for Grand Lake Farmers Market, first Saturday in May, then the second would be at Fruitvale Library, then Brookfield. After that, we go back to doing in-person meetings. We still will use Zoom anyway, but we will go back to It's Your Move games on Telegraph Ave and doing our general meetings there. And then we will also be doing the movie nights. Will start the last Sunday of May, and that is all confirmed as well. And we will continue going unless I'm really bad happens. And I will pause there. Michael, yes, please.
I just wanted to tell people that I'm having an out-of-town visitor the first weekend in May, so I will not be available just for that particular weekend.
You totally get a pass because you did it for 3 years every Saturday also, but I would encourage others to please come out and step up. It doesn't have to be every weekend. I mean, I'm going to be doing it every weekend. We will possibly leave a little bit early on the third Saturday because we're still doing the virtual events over Zoom. We'll see if that times need to change over this season. But yes, Michael totally gets a pass. So actually, and I don't need any commitments from anyone. If you can make it on the weekends, please show up. That is one of the ones, more the merrier. Everyone has heard that Michael won't be able to make the first one, so it'll be me by myself all day. Well, here's another motivation to get you there. You're going to leave me alone talking to the public by myself. Are you going to do that? Everybody else, right? So that's what, like I said, Michael did for 3 years, like Michael and Jan, right? They were the conscience. To see if they were laughing, I knew I was doing okay. If not, I knew I need to tone it down a bit. So it's up to you, rest of Oakland Greens. Leave me out there to my own devices. It may be good, maybe not. We don't know. Any questions or other things on in-person events? I'm looking forward to getting back, especially the movie nights. Those were also, really, we always were breaking even on those for food.
And I have a question.
Oh, I have an answer.
This is coming up in a number of different things that I'm involved in, so I might as well ask it here as well. And that is, I'm hoping, is there any reason why we can't, even if we go back to in-person meetings, can we still have a Zoom at our in-person meeting so that there are people who are not going to be able to come or concerned about their health to come, whatever. So in addition to having an in-person meeting, we will also have a Zoom capability.
That is correct. We will be
thank you.
Zooming, and then we also will be Zooming Is that actually a shout out for Instagram to Vicky, who always invents words, my family, but Zooming during, not during the movie itself, of course, for copyright reasons. That's one of the reasons why we do it free and don't ask for money, of course. But the dinner and then the discussion afterwards, we'll do Zoom over a laptop and stuff too. Yeah, like
Great.
I had said too, I don't think Zoom's ever going away, if for no other reason. There are many people, and I know that because, again, at least the average of 10 that view it on YouTube, right? Because they can't make it for whatever reason, right? Can't make it.
Understood.
So yes, answer that question. We will be and will always be now. And again, any other comments, questions on in-person events? And seeing none, we are at the end of our meeting, and now it is also for announcements, please. Does anyone have any announcements?
I have an announcement.
Yes, please, Michael.
On the first Saturday in April, there's going to be the Suds and Socialism thing that the Oakland Greens co-sponsor is having its monthly event. I sent out contact information for the event. In order to attend the event, you're being asked to register first, and then you get the Zoom contact information. So, and I did send it to the Oakland Greens. I also sent it to the county council list as well. So I hope to see some of you at this event. Oh, let me just say a word about what it is. It's about law enforcement, about prosecutions, actually. We're going to talk about the recall of the county district attorney in San Francisco. We're going to talk about Dan Kapalovitz, who's the statewide candidate for attorney general, is going to be involved in it as well. So it's going to be about how does being a prosecutor fit in with being a radical person? I mean, that's the subtext of this thing. Over.
Yes, and I see Orlando, and then I will call myself for, oops, hold on, let me let someone back in. And I also, we are sort of at the end, but I forgot we have 2 more, the June elections, and we kind of covered that, but I'll ask again. And then we have the Spanish translation as well. Yes, Orlando, you had your hand up.
Yep. I have a podcast interview tomorrow with Keep It 100 with Zoda Roaster. It's pretty much a live urban hip hop, up-to-date podcast. So I'm gonna be doing an interview sharing about myself and mainly the Oakland election, the Oakland Greens, and the ID and the currency. But the main thing is to push for more of the Oakland Greens, get more awareness, and get more young folks involved. Over.
Thank you.
Yeah, and as I don't have, even for Suds and Snacks, I don't have access to make any of the events and stuff. So hopefully we'll have it in not. So the only thing, how? Well, I can ask Don, or better yet, Orlando, if you email Don, but it's tomorrow. Never mind.
Once I finish it, I'm gonna share the link.
Okay. Yes, that'll work too. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other announcements?
Only my report about the
Right.
Spanish translation.
Right, and we have the election ones too. The only thing that I will piggyback on again is, remember, 10 viewers on YouTube and 5 to 7 on Instagram. Go to oaklandgreens.org and look under our events page, because all the stuff will be there. It has the link to our, not only to individual Eventbrite events, but it will have the links for the entire season and things like that. Any other announcements?
Yes, me, Kyle.
Yes, please.
Hopefully my connection is good. I tried to switch to my laptop. So my announcement is that I've been working with this nonprofit. It's called Sustainable Economic Law Center. And they're have a book club that I've joined. they're reading Collective Courage. So they're trying to be a little active in the community. So we've come together to send out a school closure letter, and I've sent it to Vicente, and I would like the Green Party basically to head discussions, because we have had some feedback from a couple of the board members. So I was hoping that the Green Party would like to give their talking points on this issue.
Any excuse to outreach. So make sure we keep up to date. And like I said, I will have a computer before the weekend for sure. I
Can we-
don't know.
Can we schedule a discussion of this document at our next meeting? Since we haven't seen it.
Kyle, can we do that?
Oh yeah, that would be perfect. I actually have I can send it out, if I can send it to either Vicente, and then that way Vicente could send it out to everyone, the email and the letter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. And
Thank
any
y'all.
other announcements? Seeing none, let's go to Spanish translation and then elections. Mika?
Okay, since we've gotten the translation, the stuff you want to translate it to Carlos, I have asked him several times on the progress of that, and last time was last night, and he really hasn't started it yet. So I would suggest that someone else maybe need to contact him to see if he's going to do it or not. I don't think it works well for me as the housemate to do that to be an A, okay?
Okay, and you know what? And there, she's not in here on Instagram. You know, I actually have 2 more people that I think that I can coerce into doing it. At least the major ones of that too. So, but I will also contact him as well. But I have actually more outreach again because of Instagram and my family on Instagram. That's right. Yossi, Vicky, I'm talking about you because I'm broadcasting live, right? So I will email them, and then I'm also reach out to other people too. I have
Vicente, if you need Carlos's contact information, give me a call and I'll give it to you.
Okay, I will check. Yeah, I may need to re-enter it because of the new computer.
Okay.
I will. Yes, definitely do that. And now, Greg, did we cover June elections enough, or was there actually more? Did you have something specific?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about mostly the assembly races, but also mention a few of the other things on the ballot. I mean, there's, probably 25 or 30 things on the ballot. We have 2 assembly races in northern Alameda County. One covers Berkeley, Albany, and North Oakland, and the other one covers all the rest of Oakland, plus City of Alameda and San Leandro. And so in the northern one, I have not had a chance to check in with Clint Smith, see what his plans are, but I will be doing that this week and let you all know, what he's thinking about, as we discussed before. And then for the other one, I don't know if Bill is here or whether he's tied up with the other thing that he was talking about, but Bill was also going to try to find someone to run, but hasn't let me know, so I assume it hasn't happened yet. But there's only a few more days in order to really make this happen, because we want to get a good start, and our voter guide deadlines are coming up. So if any of the rest of you think, anywhere in Oakland except for North Oakland, very much preferably as a green, or at least radical enough that the Greens would support them. Or of course in City of Alameda or San Leandro, both of which are a little less radical. But anyway, it's a big opportunity. So think about anyone that that you could see as a state assembly candidate. I understand from Bill, one of the big issues is about developers that not only because a lot of these developers are focusing on just the high-end housing, they're not really focusing on affordable housing. But you know, it's also tied in with the whole housing crisis and the price of rent and everything too. So anyway, think about that for the next 3 or 4 days. See if you can think of anybody. Check in with them. You can check in with me. And then we do need some more help on the voter guide, not only with that race, the state assembly race in this area of the rest of Oakland and Alameda and San Leandro, but also we have that new library measure. I sent it out, I think, to most of you about it's just an extension of the current library tax. So it's pretty straightforward, but you know, somebody's got to write it up. So you can do the write up on the library tax, where we have these kind of obscure countywide offices, the county assessor, the county auditor, and the county, what's the other one, treasurer. So, you know, they're all 3 are incumbents, and we have the write-ups we did 4 years ago. You can basically copy most of what the write-up was 4 years ago. Some of them said they're gonna return our questionnaire. One of them said that, well, I don't have an opponent, so I'm not gonna return your questionnaire. But, you know, we need to say something. So if any of you can volunteer, that would be great. I think that's about it. Unless anybody else has any comments on any of these races on the June ballot and our voter guide.
Oops, sorry. I see Michael's hand up. Michael, please.
Yes, I'm not sure where we are in the questionnaire process, but for state legislators, either assembly or state senate, there definitely should be a question about the Oakland school debt and asking how they would vote on waiving the remainder of the Oakland school debt. Over.
Well, the draft questionnaires were sent out about 5 or 6 days before the last county council meeting, asking for comments. We got a few comments, but I don't know if I can't remember. I don't know if it was specifically about Oakland. I think education was in there, but you know, and then basically nobody said anything at the council meeting, and then they were sent out because you know that's the timeline, is that we only have a limited amount of time and then they have to get sent out.
So it's too late.
Yeah.
No problem.
Bill
I
is
see.
here. Good.
Yep, I see Bill's hand going up, and then I have a question from the chat. Do we have a list of events that need volunteers? It's not as specific, but now I guess I need to add a new tab to our thing, or either that, no, I could just start adding a sentence or two, please come and assist us on our events page for things. So the only thing we really need is like tabling and being able to outreach to people and, you know, direct them to where the literature.
It's also.
Well, I know you do, Greg. I'm speaking specifically. Don't worry. Yes, I see you. But I can do. That's a great point, Kyle, and I'll do that. And then Bill, and then Greg. Bill, please.
Yes, I just got off the call I was on, so I'll jump back in here. In terms of what Michael said, we've always had these local, you know, in the assembly races around here, questions relating to the debt of Oakland and what they would do, and just it has to be, it should be worded in a way that fits the the actual situation, but that's a minor point because the state no longer holds the debt, but they can pay it off. And while I'm thinking of it, I've revised with greater emphasis and specificity the questionnaire that has gone out to the County Board of Education in regard to that question as well.
Thank you. Greg?
I was just saying on the volunteer stuff, the voter guide should be out around May Day, maybe even a little before May Day. So, for that basically 1 month period, we'll have plenty of voter guides to distribute around town.
Duh, fucking stupid Vicente. Yes, there will be tons of opportunity, Kyle, to hand out voter guides, and of course we'll be doing that too. Speaking of that, is there still time to, like, if we just put one of our Oakland Greens graphic to add in there?
Yeah, I obviously don't know how much space, but
No, it doesn't even have to be big. I just want to use the one that we have on our t-shirts. The Oakland Greens is a true sound of liberty.
But what I was saying is that just in case, there's a lot of space, like a half page.
Oh yeah, I got a graphic for that too. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm saying for the half page, you get a chance to put some text in, so
Yeah.
you can think about what kind of text you want for a half page one. Whereas, if it ends up small, then so
Right.
think of what you'd like for, especially the large one, and then of course for the small one, you're gonna see what.
I usually put the text in the graphic, like if I know we're all fucking 3 days older than water, but if you go around to the social media, you see like the graphics, which was used a quote from Charles Bukowski about the fact that labor was the largest trick that the system ever placed on people, and that whole idea, whatever. But then at the bottom it's like oaklandgreens.org or whatever. But so what I'll do is like which I, again, by next month I will have it, but the voter guides will be out then. I'll say
No. The deadline for the graphics and stuff will be basically a couple days before the county council meeting. So
okay, so before that I will get
April 2nd or something.
Right. Well, I'll put make sure to get a graphic out to people for approval online then. And
Get a large one, like a half
And a
size
small
one,
one.
and then get a small one, like an eighth of a page or something.
Right. Cool. And I wanted to also, as on the voter guide, Dale's not here, but he had lost his computer crashed and lost it, but he was able to recover it. So at least all the things that he was already on voter guide, they do have. He has a new computer, it's being set up. And that is all I have. Anything else? No, I move we adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you very much. See everybody later. Thanks for coming. And
Bye-bye.
this is Vicente Cruz event and fundraising.
All right, y'all.
Waiting till the echo goes.
Thanks.
Hi, everybody. And yes, this is Vicente Cruz, the event and fundraising coordinator for the Oakland Greens. Remember, www.oaklandgreens.org. Oakland Greens on IG, Oakland Greens /Facebook, Oakland Green Party, YouTube, and check us out and see us at events. See you in the streets. Peace.